Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin to flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the coal. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin pumping, altcoins pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto.
What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream, the live stream. We are live here on X. We are live on Rumble, and we are live on YouTube. And you know what else is alive? The Bitcoin market and the crypto market is alive. And we got a nice little blast off last night. But are we out of the woods? Because we got some big news coming out today. We had other big news speculation come out last night. But what does this mean for markets? And then beyond that, what's going on with the rest of things outside of stock market, outside of Bitcoin, all of those other coins that we're looking at? Are we starting to see the signals that something larger is brewing and the market is ready for it? Let's all take a look at what's going on, because we see Bitcoin has effectively, I accidentally hit the button up here, by the way, and it reorganized all my charts, and I don't know how to go back to how it was, which is very frustrating because my charts are in the wrong order now, but it's all good. Looking at Bitcoin here on the CME futures gap, what do we see? What do we see? We do see that the price action has come up here and effectively cleared this gap almost to a T. And if, in addition to that, look at where this rejected. Right on this trend line right here. And if you zoom out, this is the trend line. I didn't have this projected out yesterday. I did have this same trend line essentially projected out to about here, and I stopped. And I was looking at this and said, wait a minute, this is actually that same trend line projected further out is exactly where this price action found a little bit of a rejection. But what's nice about this is that we saw this break back inside of this range that we have here, and we have cleared out this CME futures gap. The problem with this is the potential for this to, as I mentioned yesterday, price action to come up, trap people long, potentially come down. And if it does come down, is it just a small bullish retrace, or are we actually going to get a larger retrace to fulfill that before coming back up? We're going to be talking about that today. And also the possibility of $200 trillion asset class in Bitcoin. Is that a possibility? Is there a real reasonable explanation or reasoning for why or how Bitcoin could get to a $200 million asset class? Because when we go over here and we're just excited. I'm just happy to be here. $3 trillion market cap for all of crypto. Remember, of that $3 trillion, look at this. We are up at basically over 64% now. 64.3% of the total crypto market cap is now Bitcoin. And this is 1.923. So 1.9, it's just massive. $1.9 trillion. Amazing. This, like, the fact that we're frustrated in any capacity and we're sitting here in an asset that's over basically right at $2 trillion, we need to be counting our lucky stars. If you got in at any time, even up to starting right now today, this is still such a minuscule part of where the Bitcoin price, this asset class, is going, because we have everything in the world right now knocking on the doorstep of getting involved with Bitcoin, whether it's Bitcoin services, products, whether it's banks getting involved with stablecoins, or allowing for Bitcoin ETF purchases to all their clientele, or sovereign wealth funds, or countries, or corporations. We are seeing an acceleration of stacking in ways that we cannot predict. So because of that, I have to ask, can we even price this in? Is any of this priced in? Can it be? It feels more like we're foraying into an exponential unknown. Why am I saying that? because Bitcoin is the known hedge against the programmed destruction that is fiat money systems like the US dollar, like the yuan, like the Turkish lira, like the bolivar, like the peso. Every fiat system, all those dollars you're spending in whatever local government you're in, those are programmed for devaluation over time, aka devaluing your time. And so today, it's a major day today because it's going to be a bit of a nothing burger, but it's going to create context for where we're going with this money system here in the US. Today, we have the FOMC meeting, which started yesterday, goes on till today, 2 p.m. We get that Fed rate decision. And then more importantly than the Fed rate decision, which is kind of baked in now that it's more likely than not going to be a cut. If we get a cut, markets absolutely rocket. If we don't get a cut, it's going to be expected. We'll see some chop in the market, but more so than that, what we will actually be looking towards, and I've been talking about this, but I got to say it again, that's the tone and the context of what Jerome Powell speaks during that press conference. When they talk about quantitative tightening, is quantitative tightening coming to an end? Do we have the necessary indications that we can start tapering off and finishing quantitative tightening? There's going to be a lot of different tonality things, inflections in what he talks about there, and also about the likelihood of whether they're going to telegraph or just subtly hint at what's going to happen in the June FOMC meeting and if that rate cut is a little bit more likely. But it's going to be interesting to watch throughout the rest of this week and then into the early part of next week how those CME FedWatch tools are looking, predicting what those rates may look like in June and then beyond. 30-minute FOMC start. No, I believe it starts at 2 p.m. That's when the Fed rate is. And then the press conference, let's see, Forex. This is my favorite one for that, forexfactory.com. This is where I like to go. And then you go to the calendar, and today is May 7th. U.S. federal funds rate. This is at 2 p.m. See right there, right on the money. It's like I do this every month. FOMC press conference, 2:30. So exactly as I had already indicated. But I appreciate you asking. Sometimes people are all over the place with this information sometimes. Shout out, see Theo Rodriguez, Randman, Crypto Princess, Chipper. Who else we got in here? We got the whole crew. St. Goose, how you doing? Mike Volmer. I hope you're all doing well. We got about 860 people in here. And I know we're going to have a couple more thousand trickle in over the next 30, 45 minutes. By the way, we also will be live over on Discover Crypto. I'm doing double duty right now along with Drew while DZ is out on his honeymoon. We were just at his wedding on Sunday. So shout out to him and his lovely bride. Drew and I picked up the reins here doing our shows as well as Discover Crypto. The FOMC meeting is at 2 o'clock today, but we will be live over on Discover Crypto at about 1:30, 1:35, and we'll go all the way through the decision as well as the press conference. So we'll be looking at trades. We'll be looking at chart setups. We'll be looking at other news that we didn't get a chance to cover on the morning show and also other things that have come out because we're seeing an acceleration of excitement right now and almost like this over expectant, almost liquidity that wants to just jump in the market. We do have data for that. I'm not just talking about the fear and greed index. I'm talking about real data that's showing that there's a very bullish appetite for this market right now. But by the way, I hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling grateful. It's rainy here today, but that's all right. Sometimes I like that sort of, quiet sky effect on everything going on. So now let's go ahead and look at what's going on because we had that major deal yesterday with Ethereum having their upgrade, and that upgrade, Pectra, is live on the ETH mainnet now. Smart account wallet UX features now active. L2 scaling data storage. Blobs increased by 2x. Validator UX improvements live. Community members will continue to monitor for any issues over the next 24 hours. For any of you who are trying to interact or engage or trade on Ethereum yesterday, I know some of that functionality was limited on Coinbase, probably most of the other exchanges as well. During that, there was a block of time where they were affecting the upgrade. So shout out there. And by the way, again, Mike Volmer, good morning to you as well. St. Goose, good morning to you. Buenos dias, Theo Rodriguez. What's the most creative hellos that you guys got? Let's see. But yeah, it's feeling good right now, guys, because we're getting some of the data we want to see, and we're, this FOMC meeting today, and just the notion that the global debt has passed The notion that the global debt has passed $300 trillion, $300 trillion. And there's only an inevitability to print more and more money, AKA devalue your time, devalue your efforts, devalue your labor, not make your house more expensive, not make eggs better because they're more expensive, not make everything that we're spending in life more expensive because all that's better. No, it's all the same damn thing. The dollar's getting devalued. And this is one of those things, $300 trillion in global debt, and it's only getting worse. The money printing is only going to become more exponential, but we got that capture mechanism that is Bitcoin. And so this is what's exciting. So make Bitcoin known to your future, because future you is going to thank you if you do, because we're also seeing the China central bank cuts key rates, injects $1 trillion. It's about $138 billion right after they agreed to the trade talks. And so when that trade talk news came out, we saw, this is where we were at. This is when we saw that largest impulse on the price action to the upside. Oh my God, they're actually going to be meeting. It's confirmed. We're seeing massive move up on Bitcoin right into a known zone that we're talking about. But we're going to get back to the TA here in a minute. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We're going to go, man, it's so mad that all these got rearranged. We're going to be looking at a number of different altcoins here. Everybody, as you roll in here, whether you're coming in from Discover Crypto, whether you're watching here on X or Rumble, wherever you're tuned in from, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Again, if you are watching right over here, just remind you, boom, come right here. Make sure at a number of different the video. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Shout out to Blockchain Basement. Make sure below the video right here, it says subscribed. And once you're subscribed, it's got a join button if you want to become a channel member. But turn on your notifications. If you're watching on Rumble, which is right over here, make sure you hit that like button right there. Bam. And then also make sure you are following right in here. So big love to everybody that is tuned in on either one of those or over here on X. Make sure you hit that retweet button, hit that like button. Let's see if we are going to do a giveaway from yesterday's stream. And we determine the giveaway and we pick the winner from those that are retweeting. If we got more than 40 retweets yesterday on yesterday's live stream, then we will do a $100 giveaway today. And that stream will be right here. Let's see. And then we're going to dive in. So only 20. We've got 1,470 people. We can't influence 40 of you to share some love. Come on, man. Get involved in the live chat. I'm just happy that you're here, to be honest. So let's go ahead and continue on because we got some main things we want to watch. Look at that, QE. It's not just the US, whether we're money printing or not. This is why when we're looking at all these metrics over here, let's go back to the dashboard. This is why everybody's so focused on the FOMC. And we have to realize Bitcoin is a global asset. Bitcoin is a global asset. So whether or not the FOMC cuts rates or we're going to print liquidity here in the US, the global liquidity with all of these, we're looking at the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, People's Bank of China, Bank of Japan, Bank of England, Reserve Bank of Australia, Bank of Canada, Central Bank of the Russian Federation, Central Bank of Brazil, and the Bank of Mexico. We're seeing all of this liquidity globally absolutely accelerating to the upside, much like we saw right here before the start of this massive run. Also, like we saw this uptick right here before we saw the start of this massive parabolic run. I do think we are about to get that. So let's kind of lock in because we need to make sure that we're not part of the debt problem. We are part of capturing assets for the future. That's what this is all about, because look at this, $326 trillion. I believe this is actually yuan, but massive uptick, China QE. So it's not just whether or not the FOMC does anything. And then we're not seeing it just in Bitcoin. We're seeing the appetite and the setup, the forward thinking. U.S. companies are buying back stock at the fastest pace in history. This is sort of, if you want to argue it this way, it's sort of like the private market, the private public market, not the government market, basically doing their own sort of injections of liquidity into the system. They're buying back their stocks, much like we saw in 2021 and 2022. Okay, this is stock market, but what did this look like in Bitcoin 2021 and 2022? Well, let's take a look. I don't know which charts are going to be which since I messed all that up. There we go. So 2021 and 2022. Here's 2020. Let's see. Here's 2021 right here. This is where those big buybacks in the stock market were happening in 2022. That would be right here. We did get a little bit of an impulse up. So this kind of gets 50-50 there. But when we're looking at this, we're seeing the buybacks getting strongest in history, actually, which is incredible. And then we're seeing other major news stories like this: $1.7 trillion assets under management. Morgan Stanley is basically saying Bitcoin should be a U.S. reserve asset, and it suggests that the U.S. stack $370 billion into allocation for Bitcoin. So guys, we got the setups here. We got Michael Saylor saying that the Bitcoin industry will explode to $200 trillion. So what does it look like on the charts? Because we've seen all the news, we've seen all the stories. Let's look at some TA. I want to see what coins that you're interested in the side chat right here, wherever you're tuned in, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Rumble. Get involved in the live chat, whether it's on X. If you want to get involved in the live chat there, all you have to do is expand it. Look, click on this like that. I'm going to mute myself. Okay. You can get active in this live chat right here where it says loading. Just get active. Boom. I want to see what coins you guys are interested in. Let's go over some TA. And before we get into that, let's look at the liquidation levels. I expect a little bit of volatility today. I've been saying that for the last couple of days. Going into this week, a number of reasons. Where we're at on the moon cycle, where we're at with, oh, it's so stupid. Well, if you're looking at the hit rate of the full moon and the new moon on what's happening with these cycles lately, maybe it's just a coincidence on the 28 days. I don't care. I'm just seeing the regularity, but we're seeing that as well as what's happening with the trade talks, the trade war talks, issues there, all these different things feeling like they're coming to a head into, and I talked about this over the last 2 weeks, into today, but then the follow through throughout the rest of this week into Sunday. I personally believe that we're going to have a pretty bullish move into the middle of this month, and especially a follow through, which would be phenomenal for the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. But what we're seeing right now, we're looking at the weekly chart, we do have this big liquidation area down here, liquidity, free liquidity, and this 93, 92 sort of zone right in here. If we get this a little bit smaller on just more like today's look at this trap. It's almost like it's market made. I mean, we have a lot of liquidations above, a lot of liquidations below, both sides. We're kind of trapped in this range as it stands right now. If we zoom in on this, I mean, look at all this liquidity directly above and below. People are trying to hedge themselves, take advantage of both directions. There's a lot of bulls, there's a lot of bears, and a lot of this is probably just noise of just, I don't want to say manipulation, but market sentiment shaping through these big market maker books while we're going into this rate decision. So it's going to be interesting to watch. In fact, I'm not going to refresh this page. I want to leave this as it is. Let's actually zoom out. So later on today, as the market sort of resolves through the FOMC decision and press conference, we'll see how this resolves. But again, I talked about it over the last few days. Let's get back in. I cannot believe I reset all these damn things. So frustrating. I'm expecting on a lot of assets that we're going to see some noise. We're going to see some noise as this progresses along. In this case, we got the move up. Now, are we going to it's almost like this is, I don't want to say a setup for shorts, but trap people long. We did break to a new high, so that's good out of this range. But as this is breaking down, we've lost these highs, obviously. But I'd be watching for this zone right here for ETH to come down right into about 18 even. If that's lost, then I do think we're coming right back down into the zone about 1758. But what would that accomplish? That would accomplish exactly what I talked about over the last 2 days, which is watch for the double washout. The washout to the upside, washout to the downside, back to equilibrium, and then the decisions made about what direction the market's going to go. As it stands right now, this is, I mean, I don't want to call it a no trade zone, but if you're going to play this volatility, do it with very tight stops and realize that there's going to be frustrating moves throughout the day because there's a lot of mixed signals. The underlying tailwinds behind the crypto market is so overwhelmingly bullish. Everybody's trying to catch that sale before the market rips. And then the market kind of then dips and it's like, well, shit. And then you go short and then the market pumps and it's been very frustrating because of the mixed signals about what's happening with the trade war. Now we have India and Pakistan, and my heart, my love, my blessings, my prayers go out to everybody that's dealing with that in any conflict zone, even if the conflict zone is your home with bad emotional communication between people you live with. Conflict is conflict, man. And I just feel bad for anybody that isn't in a peaceful situation. Let's find peace here together on the BitLab Academy. So big love to all of you. Let's stay positive today. Mads in a 20x Bitcoin in my pants, says Mads and Lizzie. Shout out to you. 200. Yeah. But let's go through some of these coins. I see you guys have posted some here. I just want to go back. So we got Matthew Faisal says Cardano. Let's look at Cardano. Now I'm just going to type these in because my whole bar here, I clicked on the percentage change thing and it just, and then I was like, could I go back? And I did symbol and it messed everything up. So let's look at Cardano, ADA. Just quick tip here. I'm going to give you guys some quick tips today because I watch even pros that I know. I watch them use TradingView and it makes me want to jump out of a window. Okay. You don't have to come up here and click here to go to an asset. All you have to do is click on the chart once. Yeah. There's more, right? Yeah. Then type ADA. Boom. It just comes up automatically. You don't have to go back and forth to these different levels. Now, Cardano, USDT, let's look at it. Let's go to the 3-day chart. Here's another example also. Say we're on the 7-minute. You want to go to the 3-day chart, click on the chart, type in the number 3, and then just 3D. Now you have the 3 days. Just like that. So 3-day chart, we've got, man, so this is looking actually beautiful. This is looking beautiful because it's been a falling trend. A downtrend, obviously, but this is rounding out nicely, and the RSI also is rounding out nicely and is broken beyond slightly beyond this moving average right in here. Fake out here, but then now it's above, and if this can hold support above this moving average, and this doesn't have some massive washout to the downside, I think this will be good. Remember, Cardano's got some major things that they're working towards integration with Bitcoin OS, and what they're doing with supposed to be a pretty big demonstration at the Bitcoin conference in terms of what can happen between Bitcoin and Cardano and some of the shared utility that can be accessed there. And if that's the case, that would be I don't want to say a game changer, but a hyper accelerator for Cardano if that were to play out how a lot of people are hoping it would. Now, when we look at this, now I just did click on the chart. We don't need to go to the toolbar. Click on the chart. If you're on Mac, you do Option, hold Option and press T. That's it. And then you just click on the chart, move your chart. That's a trend line. If you're on PC, same thing. It's just Alt, T, hold Alt and press T, let go, and then click on the chart, move your mouse, click on the chart again. You have an automatic trend line like that. So now let's look at these trend lines, Option T. Again, it's Alt T if you're on PC. Falling channel, deviation below, deviation above. Great. This kind of nullified itself, right? It's like it counterbalanced itself kind of. So we're going to draw another trend line right here, Option T, right through this zone, right in here. We can actually do a little bit of a box here. Let's go to this box right here. A little bit of a support zone. So this is looking like it's trying to round out to make a move to the upside. Now, it's not guaranteed. If this can hold in this little zone here and not break down here, if this breaks down, we may be getting another pretty big swing to the downside, mid 50s, maybe even all the way down to mid 45s. But I'm leaning towards much more bullishness, minus maybe a wick, but on a candle closure basis, especially on like a 6 hour or something like that, I think this will hold. If this does get lost, this is kind of where I'd really want to see it to maintain bullishness in the near term is finding support here, 59.60 cents right in here. But this, as it stands right now, I'd like to see, minus on small time frames, I'd like to see the candle bodies remain in this zone. If we see like a quick wick down in here, but you know, something like that. But yeah, guys, things are kind of all on the cusp right now. BNB, I saw somebody type BNB on one of these, and then Mandy Vera, I see you say Ondo. We'll look at Ondo after BNB, because remember BNB just got I think it was Van Eck just did an ETF application for BNB. I think it was Van Eck. It's hard to keep track. There's so much news we look at every day. Okay. I mean, broadening wedge, right? This is on the, let's go to the 12-hour. Okay. Broadening wedge. You can also draw this two ways because, you know, you have those wicks, but you also kind of have a lot of the candle bodies touching in this zone here. So this is trying to get the breakout. It's broken out, Kelly. Yes, it has. But as you see here, this is not really confirmed. It broke out and couldn't even retest and bounce. It broke out, came back down, and it's just been riding this. Now it broke out again. It's kind of like the same thing we saw here. We need to see the price action here on BNB hold these levels. You know, really above, I would say 597. maybe a little bit lower, 594, this sort of region. If this cannot bounce here, then this will likely fall back down into this zone, 585, potentially even lower. But again, I'm leaning on the bullish side, other than on smaller candles, like 2-hour candles, seeing, quick moves up and back down. But this is looking like it wants to make a bit of a move. This would be the area I'd be watching here, because we have a lot of chop here. We have support here, rejection here, support, rejection, support, support, support. If this were to come down here and lose this, then I do think this is going to take a bigger spill, probably to about 563. I'm just looking for that next zone of both support and resistance. That's right here, 565. But I'm leaning on the bullish side. Currently, the RSI on the 2-hour is above the 50 line, but let's go over the 4-hour. Yeah, see, this is broken above this 50 line. Especially when you get on the 4-hour timeframes and above, when you get the price action doing a move and the RSI is broken back above this 50 line, it's predominantly more bullish strength, predominantly more bearish strength. So if this can hold here and the RSI does look like it's trying to hold support here, then maybe this move to the downside is just finding support right here on all of this chop, support and resistance. If this can hold this zone, then we're watching for a move up here to 617, and then the next leg up will be up here to about 637. So we've got all these levels marked out, just giving you a grid of the price areas to pay attention to. Ondo was the next one. Manny Vera. Okay, let's see. Ondo Finance. All right, let's see. I don't want to do perpetuals. I want to do Ondo USD. Let's do Coinbase because I already have that chart. Yeah. So, see, we were hoping for this. And we were talking about the potential rejection. It did not get that. That was an opportunity, right? It was a suggestion for what could happen. But what we're seeing now is actually, first time on this downtrend since April 26th, this has broken out, and I can't say it's having support yet. It's broken out, kind of tested here, kind of tested here. So it's kind of flipping this previous resistance to support. But I'd be kind of hyper vigilant on this, because you see this on the 4-hour, the RSI got rejected. Look, where? Right at the 50 line. What am I talking about, the 50 line? Look at the numbers on the right side of the chart. You can move your mouse and just always look over there. It'll tell you where this is still got rejected about trying to be bullish. It doesn't mean it's over. It just means you need to be a little cautious here. If we get some on today, which is a highly volatile day, if we get some choppiness, I wouldn't just count it out. Like, for instance, if this breaks down here, it doesn't mean it's over, because within the matter of 7 minutes, this could have a pretty big swing down and then a massive move back up, chopping people out in both directions. So again, this is why days like today are so frustrating. You got to choose the plays you want to take and take them, and either have a tight stop or be planned to hold those, especially if it's long, plan to hold those through the volatility into the coming months. It's going to be up to your style. But we do have a bit of a inverted head and shoulders that could be forming here. We got a bit of a shoulder, bit of a head, and the start of potentially, I'm not saying it's an inverted head and shoulders, potentially the start of a head and shoulders. So it gets better and better as you're able to see patterns emerging before they do, but you can't just expect the pattern because you think it might be emerging to absolutely going to happen. This market can get so frustrating when you are planning an expectation for a move. This is why some of you get frustrated when you watch us here on BitLab Academy, because I don't spoon feed you bullshit just to make you excited. I will be very bullish and in the same moment be showing you bearish targets. Because if you're not planned for both directions, you are literally just planning to hand your money over to somebody else so they can buy their 6th boat or their 4th vacation home. That's not what this is about. We need to risk manage and take account for both directions that this market can go at all times, because you never know when something can happen, especially with the global conflicts that are spinning up right now, especially with the trade wars that are also in some ways poking the bear about some of these global conflicts, especially when we have a new administration trying to tackle the runaway, not only inflation, but the runaway debt and spending and all this, which is shaking the confidence of some players in the markets, where all other people in the markets are seeing it as opportunity. You have to determine what you want to do in this market and how patient you can be and how aggressive you want to be. Excuse me. Now, what else we got? Ondo Finance. Yeah, I mean, I'm super bullish on Ondo. I'm actually just delighted. I have some money coming in, I think this week, maybe early next week. Waiting on invoices, baby. But I want to deploy in this market. And this, notice how, see, here's a great example. We're talking about potential bullish reversal pattern on this downtrend. We also see right here, where did I just see this? Also see the opposite of that right here. We have head, shoulder, head. If this, even this breakout, that would be bullish. Oh, you can't see. So we have, let me just show you where we looked at right here. This potential inverse head and shoulders forming, that also would be in contention with a bearish breakdown head and shoulders like this. And this would be, this head and shoulders right here, inverted, that would substantiate making that right shoulder. So this is just how confused the market is right now, because I'm not just projecting these things. I'm looking at the charts, and the charts are a map that we're reading of the battle of the bullish and bearish sentiment. So we're seeing a potential bearish breakdown sentiment, but we're also seeing the potential bullish kind of impulse to the upside movement. The market is just getting frustrating as it can be right now. And I do very much so think that this is going to resolve its way very bullishly in the near future. So we got Ondo, Plume. We haven't looked at Plume in a minute. Shout out to you, Joangueli. I can't pronounce it. JW Languel. Is that it? Maybe. So let's look at Plume. How many of you out there hold Plume? It's one of those ones I really want, but sometimes you just have to pick where you're allocating your capital and your time and your energy. It's only so much you can look at. And to my knowledge, Plume is not that old, so I'd assume this is a good chart for it. Yeah, it's not much context here. We have to go to smaller time frames. See, look at this kind of ugly shoulder, head, shoulder. We did get the breakdown, and unfortunately, we got the breakdown. Fortunately, we got the breakdown with the retest back up here, kind of confirming a move that's likely, it wants to go to the downside, but it's not allowing it. Plume is holding up. The bulls are holding it here. If this kind of loses this level, I'd be getting a little worried, especially if we lost this level right here, 1651. But again, I feel like the market is leaning more bullish, but I have to make a caveat here. I said it on the Discover Crypto show I was hosting earlier. There's a lot of things on the legislative agenda right now in Washington, D.C. in regards to stable coins and other market structure bills and reforms and this kind of stuff. While that could be good, and we're getting the like empowered support of the crypto ecosystem from the SEC and the CFTC and what we're seeing with the new administration, but we're starting to see some partisan splits in support of some of these things. So that could cause a little bit of a liquidity bottleneck within the altcoin markets if that were to happen, meaning those bills don't get passed or they just get pushed, on. We have to just pay attention to that. But when we're looking at Plume, it's in a very, very strong narrative, right? And this is just feeling weak. I wouldn't be confident on this until this actually broke up here. I'd want to watch for a break up, a support, and then a launch like that, because then you'd also have that inverted head and shoulders formed. And in addition to that, you'd be breaking past these sort of levels right in here, which would likely lead to that next larger leg to the upside. But right now, if today, it just feels very hands-offy. Near protocol, I saw somebody say, I think it was on Rumble, downtrend. Okay, we broke out of the downtrend. Great. But then we look at this. These head shoulders have been everywhere. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Or you can just call it the rounding top, right? Break down where to go to, right to the previous range highs. You see how often this happens? The previous range highs is always a great area to just guess, at least at minimum guess. Where will price go if it falls? When price moves up, if there's price action right here, let me just do this right here. If this price action just had a great move to the upside right here, and it was just moving up, on the way down, where can you expect with a pretty decent degree of accuracy that you can likely see a bounce or some support? Well, you see how I have crosshairs on my chart, how they go up and down across both directions? That's so I can move my mouse like this, and you see, I can see that crosshair hitting right on here. So I would look at that and I would kind of go like this, option H, that would give me that. Now, beyond that, option F, you go from the bottom to the top there, say that was a top. And look at that. Look at that. This bounce level that we talked about, which was right here, would kind of be straddling between the golden pocket and the 382 if this were the top. So you start looking at previous range tops to come down to find support and how that aligns with other fibs that are there. That gives you a substantiated sort of confidence about certain levels. But as it stands right now, near breaking down, however, if this market has a pretty big reversal, then I do think that the market, things like near protocol and some of these others will have a pretty nice reversal. The problem is we don't quite see it yet because we had this sort of channel here, breakdown, rejection, back down. Where is it? Right in line with these zones, right? Option J. So if it can't find support in this region, and the RSI is looking like it was wanting to, right? Why? Because look, lower lows right here, and we have higher lows on the RSI. This is starting, not saying it's absolutely there, but it's starting to look like it's trying to form a little bit of a bottom. If this is the case, then we want to watch a bounce here and likely a trouble point here about 253, and then another trouble point here about 275, which is also this previous range high. So it might start looking like it's a good, I mean, look at this, shoulder, head, shoulder. This would be beautiful if that were to take place. Now you can be super aggressive and get here, except that you might get a little bit more of a dip if you're not on leverage for a spot trade, I mean, or you can be a little bit more patient and let this push up, get rejected, break through this, find support, and then you know that this reversal is in place. So what else we got? I'm looking at other ones you guys have said. Zbeck. I'm just scrolling here. I'm looking through all your comments. You had me at head. It's funny. Naughty boy. Well, I say let's like number 50, Kelly. Let's go. Shout out Joey Crypto. Appreciate the likes, the subscribes, the dings, the bells, all that. Let me make sure that this customization here. Yeah, that is all set. Cool. Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, let's look at Morpho. I mean, look at this, stair stepping to the upside, came back where? Right into the range of these previous highs. Crazy how it happens, right? Now, again, I would like to add more to this because I did purchase the other day. I think it was, I don't even know. Let's see, this is on the 4 hour. I think it was somewhere, I would expect is probably right about somewhere in here. I'm right at about cost basis. And then it pulled back a bit and then it launched. But I'm very bullish on Morpho. Again, today, it's hard to look at the charts and expect what's going to happen between now and in the next 2 hours because there's so much expectation both directions and there's market manipulation and market makers doing things in both directions. I'd like to see where this goes throughout the end of the day, start getting very much more conviction on direction tomorrow. And Sunday, we'll have quite a bit more conviction as to what's happening in this market. But today, everybody, I love you. That's all we got today. $340 billion Bitcoin buy coming. I said in the title, it should have said 370 because that was all about this right here. For those of you who think that was clickbait. Morgan Stanley is suggesting a $370 billion Bitcoin allocation. So, let's just stay smart. Let's stack in, do everything we can, stay smart. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I appreciate you. I love you guys. I hope you all have gratitude in your hearts. Tune in on with us over on Discover Crypto at 1:30. I'll also be connected to my Twitter, so it'll also be live streaming from my Twitter. You'll be able to see it there as well, much like I did this morning with the Discover Crypto stream. I also connected, you can see right here, I had it live on my Twitter here at Kelly Kellam. It's only 2 L's and 2 L's. Kelly, Kellam. I only point that out because there's so many fake profiles out there scamming. Make sure you're following the correct one. But I will be live streaming that as well through my Twitter. We'll also be on Discover Crypto. I'm sending you over to Blockchain Basement now, and then I'll see you here in about an hour on the next stream. Remember, if you want to participate, $100 USDT value giveaway. hit this retweet on this. Hit that retweet button right there. Show some love. 2,000 people tuned in. All you have to do is just exit out of it and hit that retweet. Show some love. And tomorrow, if there's 40 or more, we will do a giveaway. Big love to you all. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos.